Frankenstein will return on TV33's Creature feature.
Tuesday at 8, it's Halloween. Don't relax, because he's back. Jamie Lee Curtis, Halloween 2, Tuesday at 8 on 33's Prime Movie.
Howdy folks, I'm Jethro Twiggins. Are you tired of looking like this? When you could very well be looking like this? I think we know the answer to that. And that's why you need to get Big Stan's Big Man Beard Cream. Just look at that sparkle and shimmer. It cries out to the heavens. I think I can hear the angels singing. It's only $9.99 and it works just fine. It'll give you a beard so delicious, your wife might do the dishes. Handsome? You better hand some of that Big Stan's over this way. Get yours today. Results may vary. Side effects include chronic back pain, itchy cheeks, explosive diarrhea, and sometimes death.
Hello, and welcome to yet another edition of Jazzy Jeff's Trading Card Review Series. I'm Jazzy Jeff. These are trading cards. Let's review. So, first and foremost, welcome everyone to episode 60, the big 60. I have made it thus far. It's pretty incredible that there's been 60 episodes, and the series is still going. Couple quick updates. There will be one more episode after this, and then that will wrap up season 4. There will be a season 5, but that will be worked on at a later time. But yes, the series will definitely be around. Another big quick update. Atari Aficionado is on the way. I'm currently playing games and testing games and going through all of that stuff. So hopefully filming will commence soon. A big part of that series is I have to play a lot of those games in order to properly talk about them. I don't like doing online research. I like playing the game and having the game so I can form my own opinion on it and give my little spiel on it. And then third and final update, I do apologize if I sound a little nasally and or sick. I am recovering from the flu, just a flu bug, nothing crazy, and a slight earache, which I think it was more of a buildup of wax, not to get too gross. But anyway, so if I sound a little off, that is why. Another thing is, if I sound better in episode 61, I actually filmed episode 61 before I filmed this. So I don't know why that happened, it just did. So this episode's probably going to be awesome, and then episode 61 is going to be like... So anyway, thank you guys, thank you girls, thank you everyone for watching. So I figured for episode 60, I would do something a little different and do something a little special. As always, I have a bunch of stuff for the end of the episode, so I'll get to that. But I don't normally do research, but I figured I would at least talk a little bit about what I'm showing today, because it is something that means it means something to me. You know, it's special. It's not something that I talk about all the time. It's not something that I post about all the time. Every single time I do a video, you have to bother me. So today's trading cards are the Shadow. And I didn't want to start showing the cards right away, but I guess I'll show the first one. So, because this is probably the perfect portrayal of the Shadow. So, bam! We got the Shadow. Now, the Shadow has actually been around since about the 1930s. I don't normally do research, but from the little research I did do, 1930 seems to kind of be the beginning. However, there's some later dates. Like most things from the 30s, he started as a serial pulp, newspaper, kind of like comic strips. Then he did eventually get his own comic book. Not to mention there were radio serials of the Shadow, which, speaking of the radio serials, I actually own some of them. So thanks to radio reruns, these were produced... Well, these ones say 1978. So these ones, I'm assuming... The cassette tapes might either be from 1978, but I'm pretty sure these are programs that were run back in like the 30s and maybe even the 40s. Yeah, this one says 1979. However, these could have been maybe re-recorded in the 70s. I'm terrible with doing research on this stuff. There's no booklet information. I got these at like a thrift store or a yard sale, but somebody had printed with like one of those little hand printers, the Shadow on the side, and these are really cool. I did listen to them, and it's just neat. It kind of brings you back to that time, when they had serials and stuff and radio programs running. And that's what you would listen to, before the advent of the television came around. Back in the 30s and 40s, radio programs were sort of just the go-to source of entertainment, kind of the way the internet/TV is now. I had mentioned comic books earlier, so I was lucky enough to have stumbled across comic books. Now, this isn't comics from back then. These are more recent comics that were developed, I believe, in the 80s, because the copyright on this comic is 1988. So by today's standards, it's old for sure, but it's not like from back then. Over time, the Shadow brand, or the character Shadow, did pass into different, I guess you could say different companies owned the Shadow. So here is Eternity Comics from the late 80s. The original Shadow from the 40s, complete and uncut. So I believe this is supposed to be the Shadow comic books from the 40s being reprinted in the 80s. I'm pretty sure that's what this is, which is really awesome. However, I do know that there was newer versions of the Shadow created, which makes it hard, when collecting and trying to figure out when this stuff is from. But this is Crime Classics, so I'm pretty sure this is the original Shadow, obviously with new cover art. Who knows? This could be original cover art, but it looks new to me. But it's part of the historical collection. As always, if anybody knows more than me, feel free to leave in the comment section below and be like, "Geez, Jeff, you're an idiot." That is clearly from the 40s. But this is just an example of just various forms of the Shadow, from the radio programs to the comic books, and then, of course, eventually movies. This is a movie from 1958. So once again, this is taking the same character of the Shadow from the 30s and from the comics and from the radio, and then giving it its own sort of movie. So the real the one-liner that was always said in the beginning of the radio programs was, "Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows." And that's always sort of been his motto. So this is Video Yesteryear, classic television and vintage films. The name of it is Invisible Avenger. So once again, this is even more gets into even more of a gray area, because is this officially Avenger? Yes, it is. but it's called Invisible Avenger. So, I'm sorry, is this the Shadow? Yes. But the name of it is Invisible Avenger. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's like its own thing. It's like somebody took the Shadow and kind of did their own little spin on it. And it's really neat. It's from 1958. It's under an hour. It's 57 minutes. So it's a pretty quick watch, if you need to kill an hour. And it's not bad. It's really cool. And it's just, it's more Shadow stuff, and I was lucky enough to come across that. Here's the tape. It's from the year 2000. Looks like a mom and pop. It's like your uncle made it on his Windows 98 and printed that out. So anyway, I don't want to show everything because I want to save some stuff for the end. But this is a trading card review series. So let's get to the cards. So you guys saw this one already. These are Topps trading cards from 1994. These were released / based on the 1994 film. This is obviously a classic kind of version of the Shadow that you would see like in the comic strips. And speaking of the movie, that is one of the other items that I have here. So there it is. Universal Pictures did eventually turn it into a full-blown film called The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin, of course. And it's not a bad movie. It's actually a very, very entertaining movie. It's kind of sad because I feel like not a lot of people know about The Shadow. And I'm like, obviously you can tell I'm a big fan. I have all the Shadow stuff. And I don't really think it wasn't so much the movie. I just don't think it did really well because not a lot of people knew what the Shadow was. I did actually own some Shadow action figures. Unfortunately, they disappeared with time, moving from house to house. So I don't know what happened to those. But those would have been incredible to show for this video. Okay, continuing with the Topps, the Shadow cards. Here's another one. Very neat. It's very movie-esque looking, like a movie poster, so that's very cool. And then we start getting into movie cards. But anyway, now we're starting to get into the movie cards. So here's the Shadow. That was Alec Baldwin with like a ton of makeup and kind of CGI and stuff. They made him look really weird, but he was sort of this. He turned from, I guess you could say, human into this like supernatural type of being. The movie did a little bit of a spin on his origin for sure. There's another picture of him. So of the Shadow of it, I guess. And then the rest of the cards just kind of delve into that same movie category of they're not super interesting. They're just movie cards. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. But there's the back of one of the cards, if you're wondering what that looks like. So there is that. And then finally, the big bad guy of the movie, Khan, there is him. And he plays a big role in the board game. Once again, he's actually on the cover of the VHS box. And then there is the back. So there you guys have it. That is the Shadow. And I love the eyes, the way that they kind of kept the Shadow looking, similar over the years. Very cool. So there you go. As I push the camera out of the way, those were the Topps trading cards. Let me know in the comment section if you had a favorite card. And now it's time for the special item. All right, here we go. Bam! So this is the Shadow board game based on the 1994 movie. This thing is intense. Let's check it out. All right, so there you can see that is the box. Great artwork. Exciting movie action, secret message decoder, sliding sanctum wall, dimensional game board. Now, I'm not going to build this whole thing, but at some point, I would like to do a video review in depth on this, but I just figured I'd show you guys. So there's all the pieces and the cards, the instruction manual, of course, and then just all the cool pieces. It's a very colorful game. Like I said, it's a moving board. There's lots of cardboard, lots of pieces involved. Very 1940s looking, very 1950s looking. Shout out to Colin Richards. You know, I know you appreciate this kind of stuff. So there you guys go. There's a little sliding brick wall. There's one of the bad guys. So there you go. And then, of course, the shadow. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the shadow board game. There's one of the little cool dice. So I hope you all enjoyed this. As always, some guerrilla style filming right now. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Once again, this was the big 60th episode. Hopefully this was cool and exciting. Something a little different and exciting. And like I said, there'll be one more after this. And then look forward to Atari and other random videos. I'm hoping to do videos just on all sorts of things. And I'm going to start showing random things from my bedroom. So, as always, thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you to everyone who comments. And thank you to everyone who supports me doing this hobby. It helps me escape reality when I have a bad day or just not feeling well. So, I appreciate it. Stay jazzy.
Now create your own Terminator with the BioFlesh Regenerator.
I'm back! Yeah? Think again. Battle damage!
Add flesh compound.
Terminator created.
Terminator.
I'm back!